The biggest threat to America today is not communism. It's moving America toward a fascist theocracy. And everything that's happened during the Reagan administration is steering us right down that pipe.
Oh, Mr. Zapp, you're not really serious if you're saying we're going toward a fascist theocracy.
That's right, we are. When you have a government that prefers a certain moral code derived from a certain religion, and that moral code turns into legislation to suit one certain religious point of view, and if that code happens to be very, very right-wing, almost toward Attila the Hun...
Well, then you are an anarchist. Every form of civil government is based on some kind of morality, Frank.
Morality in terms of behavior, not in terms of theology.
Hello and welcome to an all new, you thought I was going to say Wannabeez, but it wasn't. It's an Enlightenmen. Justin is just not that dedicated this week.
Nor is he that enlightened to join us.
Yeah, he can't join the Enlightenment.
We're setting the bar high.
You got to be enlightened to join the Enlightenmen. So it's an all new Enlightenmen. And, I thought we'd start with, like we always do, with thing. I don't know if this is an icebreaker, but I'm gonna pose it as a question and see how this goes.
It may break the ice.
It may break the ice. People might hate it. It doesn't matter. I love it, and it's strange for some reason. I have an obsession with this. This is my new obsession. John, have you seen the Tiny Chef show?
Oh my God. I guess I could have guessed you were going to say this because of how many different Tiny Chef videos you've sent me this week.
The amount of time I'm spending on Tiny Chef at this moment is unhealthy for an adult. But for some reason, I have this weird obsession with it right now. It is like so comforting to have Tiny Chef and these and watch these fucking things. They're fucking kindergartners, but I love Tiny Chef, and I don't mind to admit it.
I'm not sure if you're expecting me to dog on you for this, but in the state of the world we live in, not just even this year, but it just seems like it's all piling on a lot. You need some kind of for lack of better terms, ASMR. You need some kind of brain butter that you can just a slice of butter you can put on the brain, just let it melt down. And I think that Tiny Chef might be that for you. And so I don't blame you even a little bit. If you don't know what Tiny Chef is,
go look it up.
See this.
You're gonna want to see it. Yeah, it's on Paramount. They canceled the goddamn show, and I'm pissed about that. But we'll.
Okay, I didn't know it was a whole show. I knew it was on YouTube there for a while.
Well, I'll get into it.
I wish you.
Tiny Chef is stop motion camera. They take that and they just this little bean looking thing. It's green. It's got a little chef hat on it. And it kind of has trouble speaking. It has a speech impediment, but it's the cutest thing, and it does the greatest. They're just episodes are just it's amazing, and it's perfect for TikTok because you can just capture that one clip of him doing flipping pancakes, dancing, or singing, and it's fucking hilarious. He does these things that I don't know if it's a he or she, it doesn't matter to me, but he does this things. It does this things.
Yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
Yes,
so
you address them. Yes, chef.
He does these clips, with these and he just sings these songs. And it gets them all wrong, but it's like you sitting in your kitchen, just sitting there, just singing along or whatever, and just and he's dancing, and it's the greatest thing ever. It's so, it just like you said, shuts your brain off, and it's just, you just listen to this guy, and it's like, I wish I lived in a world with Tiny Chef. That's what I hope.
It's like the complete opposite of the bear. Like, could you imagine Tiny Chef on the show
I
The
thought
Bear
that would
when,
be perfect.
when the
Hey,
guy's like,
get that done.
Lawrence,
We
Lawrence, and he's just down there like
yeah, you got to get
on
come
the
on,
floor
get
cooking
Tiny
up.
Chef on the bear guy. Come on, get him on the bear, or at least get
Come on, what is it? Season 4, season
at
5
least
coming
get
up.
them on Tiny Chef. Maybe get them on Tiny Chef, and they can do some.
Oh
That would be
yeah, that'd be
fun.
cool. Like a Sesame Street type
Yeah.
thing. That'd be cool. Like Tiny Chef cook something cook something up with Jeremy
Yeah.
Allen White.
Exactly. Perfect.
I'd watch it. Fuck it. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
They do have cameos from some like famous actors. So it's like, you could do that. They do it like split screen, like we're doing, and it's Tiny Chef on one side and the
Oh, okay.
person on the other. It's pretty cool. But they do this every, like, almost every day. They do these blogs with him, like, he's on retirement and he's looking for another job. Like, even after they canceled him, they were still doing it. It's so good. I'm sorry, it's wicked good. Like, he's going on a road trip and he's trying to find himself. Like, he gets in a food truck and he's driving across America right now, and they do every day. They do more clips of what he's doing, and it's so good.
Oh, like that movie
Yeah.
Chef
Yeah,
with
yeah,
John
yeah. It's
Favreau.
so good. Yeah.
But tiny.
It's such a good show though.
It's just Tiny Chef.
Well, that's my icebreaker. Tiny Chef. If you haven't watched it, go watch Tiny Chef. It'll help you.
That's great. I haven't watched it personally, but my wife's a huge fan of Tiny Chef. She has been for years. And she actually just the other day, I was sitting there and she was on the couch and she's like, wow. She must have been scrolling through Facebook or something. She's like, wow, Nick's really into Tiny Chef lately, huh? I was like, I guess so. Yeah, he's kind of been bombarding my TikTok with Tiny Chef. And yeah.
I
So,
feel like
yeah,
everybody needs
it's
some
great.
Tiny Chef in their life right now. Everything that's going on in the
I
world,
agree.
just put your faith in Tiny Chef.
There's too much brain rot out there. There's not enough brain butter. We need brain butter for our brain flapjacks. And
He's the world champion of flapjack flipping, so
well, there you go.
he
Look
can
at
flip
that.
some
Kismet.
pancakes, guy. He just he's got the trophies to back it up too. So they're the most intricate sets too. They must. Oh my god, it's weird. It's such a weird show. It's like the time they put into the Tiny Chef show. It's incredible. So.
Yeah, because a lot of it's like felted together, like that like micro stitch felt work shit. I don't even
Oh
know what
yeah,
that shit
it's
was
all they
called,
go
but
old school with
very
it, guy.
impressive.
Yeah, they go old school with it, and it's very well done, very well produced. And they started from nothing. I think there was two girls that started it, and they were like, they lost their jobs, and they were like, "What are we gonna do?" Or they met at some like convention for that, like people that do that type of work, the stop motion, caption
Hmm.
motion, and they were working on another project, and they were like, hey, and then they got each other's numbers or something like that, and they were like, and then one day I guess one of them was like, oh shit, I got this Tiny Chef guy, and his voice makes it all too. It's so good. It's so good.
I always had mad respect for the stop motion community, but my respect for them increased even to new heights when I started fucking around with all my figures and stuff.
Mm.
And I can't even say that what I did on TikTok was stop motion, but I just very loosely did posing to go along with different audios, and that alone, I mean, Granted, I have like two kids running around in the background. Well, the other one's not running, but he's still loud. But I got two kids and I got all these other responsibilities, and so it's like I don't have like a whole studio set off that I can sit and focus on it. But god damn, just doing those little TikToks, it could be frustrating and
Mm,
exhausting, and I don't even get close to the kind of like intricate
intricate
detail
detail,
and
yeah.
motion that these people put in. It's absolutely glorious.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's an art form, and I shout out to everybody that does that. That would be like one, other than like doing voiceovers for that, for like cartoons and stuff. That would be my dream job too, to do something like that, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that it's such a good. It's just oh, I remember what they would do. Dogs in the Wild. Remember that movie that kind of did that with the Island of Dogs or whatever? There was a movie that
Yeah,
did that same thing. That's what they were working on.
we've gone through this, Cooley. You can't just throw out a movie at me. We got like 20-year difference between each
This
other.
was a this was a movie that came out.
Is this newer?
Yeah, it was a newer movie.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
stop motion stuff.
Hmm.
Besides that,
Dog Island doesn't ring a
that's what
bell.
they that's what they met. How they met was on that situation. They created Tiny Chef. So, but
Hmm.
I'm going on a tangent at this moment in time. I'm going to different things.
Oh, it's that's what it's all about. We stayed secure on the on the one icebreaker. You broke the fucking ice. You shattered it like a glass ceiling with the tiny chef talk. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What did you actually? Let's get into the nitty gritty. You're the one who called this. You said, "John, I want to do an Enlightenment," and I understand it's been a while since we've done one, so I'm all for it. We usually have a third guy here, and I'm not I'm not even just making a joke about how our third guy died, but we usually like no matter what try to have a third guy here. So I feel like
Yeah.
we're already a little bit thrown off. But so why'd you want to do this?
Well, I don't know. It felt like a good time. I've been watching a lot the Daily Stoic, so you know him
Hmm.
and
Yeah, Ryan Holiday's
yeah,
great.
Ryan, yeah, awesome person. Wrote a shit ton of books on this stuff, and so I've been watching a lot of that on TikTok and getting back into like meditations and just like finding myself, needing that and using these tools that I've put in my toolbox a lot more and in this right now as what's going on in the world. So
Are you having a renaissance?
yeah, I'm having a renaissance of
Are you renaissancing?
yes, yes, with a Z, definitely 100%.
That's great. I mean, I'm glad to hear that you're not long after me finding your dipping your toe back into the water, and I've also been picking up meditations a lot more. I'm finding that my second read through, I'm also doing this thing where I'm very, very, very much into history at the same time. So I've been watching a lot of different like YouTube videos about different historical things, and almost just like in the most chronological sense I could do, and like a revamp of world history, just to like put myself back into education. And what I've enjoyed the most about it is like when these people pop up and the different time frames, and then I'm like, I know that guy, yada 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 yada. I can kind of have a connection to it, and then I go back to meditations after that, and it's like, holy shit, this book is littered with names that I didn't know the first read through, and now I know, a little bit of these people and a little bit of why they are referenced so much here and there, and so that part's been absolutely awesome for me, and I kind of heard I don't want to give Shane Gillis the credit, but I heard Shane Gillis. He did this joke where he said that they're like getting really interested in history. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Getting really interested in history is like a precursor to like a young Republican.
Yeah, yeah.
So I always thought that was fascinating because I don't think it's wrong. I don't think he's inaccurate at all. But I always wondered why that is because personally, my relationship with history has always been like the more I learn about it, the more like radical and like left leaning I find myself becoming, and the more I find myself like pushing myself away from like any one not even to single out religion, but any one institution or ideology or way of thinking. And I know this is all about like, yeah, you love stoicism, you suck it off like a cock. But like, even when you go through history, it like gives you enough perspective to see things like, I don't know, like when you pop in a video game that you don't know anything about and you've never played and you're just like, I'm just going to try it. It's like sometimes if you take that same kind of approach to history, like a truly like a fly on the wall thing, you're like, I'm not gonna like,
You're
I'm just gonna
playing
have
you're
any
playing
sort of
Assassin's Creed at this
yeah,
point, guy.
yeah.
You're
I
in,
have been.
you
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I've been dabbling a little bit of Assassin's Creed too, but it's it's relevant to what I'm trying to achieve here. I'm just trying to get the get the knowledge up.
the same mindset, the same
Yeah,
mindset.
but the point of what I'm trying to say is
Imagine
like,
that you could go back in time and live your past lives in that situation in the point of history where
oh, dude, I think about it a lot. I think about it.
that would be insane, right?
I think about it so much, and I just think about like how my brain would immediately just start just breaking down like a sandcastle because everything I know, like all my customs I know, even the language I speak, like someone would immediately just start being threatened by me because they're just like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?"
No, you're exactly the way you were then. So you have the
Oh,
same
I thought you were saying like
speech.
like a time comedian type thing. Like I just get
No, I was
shot.
talking like an Assassin's Creed type thing. It's
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
in and live their past life like you're you like you did back then, and you could relive and see what the hell was going on in that exact moment and shit. Like you're around.
Something tells me my ancestors aren't that like they're probably not the assassins that were like written and talked about. They were definitely just like peasants and
They were
the working
they were the
class.
dude.
Not to put them down. Yeah, there are a lot of people in
Yeah, everybody. Hey,
maybe there's a
there's no
lineman in
shame in it
there.
just being. Yeah, maybe you got eaten by a lion. Maybe by the at
No,
the
a
end,
line.
guy, you
I
might.
meant like a line, like the Wichita lineman.
Oh,
Or a lion tamer, you never you never
you
know.
never know, guy. You never know. You might have been something exciting, guy. Yeah, but
True.
no, just having that perspective and being there and seeing like all of that as it in its heyday, and taking it in as
Hmm.
a first person other than just reading it in books. That's what I'm trying to say. Like experiencing it at the time of what that happened,
Yeah.
even if you like oh, it's the Civil War and you were running and shit like that, and all of a sudden you get shot in the head, guy. Like that was that's it for you, but you experienced that in the way that happened.
Yeah, but on the other side of that coin, it's like the reason that like
Oh no,
when we
John was
read
for the South. John was from the South.
when we read history like that, it's like that's exactly what we're trying desperately to do is like throw ourselves into it like an animist type situation. At least that's what I do when I'm looking into this. So like I'm trying to get the most non-prejudiced, non-biased, just as if I was a civilian in the streets of this type of civilization, whatever it is I'm trying to learn about. Take my approach to history after that, which is where I could see where like people who get very, very deep into history and then end up coming out like maybe on the authoritarian side, they tend to kind of like when they say like history is written by the victors, like they tend to be only only thinking about like, well, true history comes from the most brutal and comes from the
Yeah.
most yeah.
Yeah, Christopher Columbus, the Pilgrims came over here, and there was no
Hmm.
people. But the people that were here, they gave food to, and they were treated very well, and all this stuff. Like, no,
And you learn it that way just because he
yeah, yeah.
succeeded. Like it would have been a completely different understanding of the story had he done a really shitty job.
If the Indians like started burning the Mayflower and they fucking hightailed it, it would have been a totally different situation. It would have been totally different a way of looking at history at that point.
Okay, but picture this. You sail what you believe is to be one of the largest oceans, searching for a way around the planet to fast track your way to India. And you
Yep.
pull up on the coast, and immediately coming out of the woods is like flaming arrows and shit. How fucking pissed would you be? Like, we've been sailing for months. We have had countless people die. Somebody gave birth on this ship.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Immediately met with
you're like
hostility.
that. I think at that point, I mean, you're like, yeah, we're here. It's just we're doing this. This is happening. It doesn't really matter at this point.
But if it would have happened that way, like maybe they would have not been so bold in their approach to colonization. You know what I mean? If they were immediately met with war and didn't get to come in and have the upper hand and like,
Well, they were. I mean, they've totally masked a whole fucking a whole tribe of fucking people at that point.
but yeah, but what I'm saying is like, had there been like a Native American Paul Revere that was like, "There's fucking ships coming," and they got everybody to the front lines and immediately started taking on the white man as they came across the horizon, like I think we'd be looking at a little bit different of a
They
history.
didn't come up with that saying, "United we
It's
stand."
the element of surprise.
The united we stand, divided we fall. I mean, that was the downfall of the Indians. They could never get organized.
Oh yeah,
They
you're
didn't
right.
want to
They
work
didn't want to work
together. They
together.
had their different tribes were like, no, we're not doing this, and that was their ultimate downfall. I mean, if they worked together to get the evil white man out of that situation, we would have never won if they got organized. That's the every time in history when people get organized, that's when shit changes, guy.
Yeah, you're right. That's I'm learning that's how Rome, the 1,000-year empire, came to fall, as all these barbaric Germanic tribes that were just like, "Hey, you been dealing with these guys down south?"
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. What the fuck? What assholes? They fucking think they're so cool with their wine and shit. Let's literally just go shred them to pieces.
That and they got too big. They got too big for their britches. I think also the ultimate downfall of every civilization is excess. All right, you get to a point where not unlike today that the working class and the classes of people get further and further away. The income inequality gets so vast that you can no longer control the civilization as you know it because people at the bottom are like pissed and the people at top don't give a fuck, like they don't matter. It's too big, and then the resources that you have for everybody that kept everybody in this, all the cogs in the wheels like greased. You can no longer
Yeah.
you get so big that you can no longer grease those wheels, and then eventually people just want to burn everything down. And we're headed there real quick right now. This is what's going on.
I was gonna say, like, if everything can be so easily compared back. Well, when you have a Roman emperor or a empire existing for thousands of years, I guess there's plenty of time for like historical things to happen to give us lessons that can be, further reflected onto things that happen down the line. But it seems almost whatever you look at can be referred back to the Roman Empire at some point. So like even when you look at
I
that,
mean, every empire in history, all of them fell the same way. They got too big. The ruling class got too emboldened. Not enough resources for the entire community. People got pissed and burnt it down, guy. Fucking Ottoman. You talk about French Revolution. You talk about fucking like literally any civilized Inca, like that's what they said the downfall of the Inca was. They fucking literally cut down every fucking tree that was there, had no more resources to keep their empire going. They needed to move the fuck away where they needed more resources to keep this thing going, and they spread out, and they ended up just falling apart. It's exactly the things that happen. Those things happen in every civilization, and then it ends up being their downfall. You don't have enough.
Especially, yeah, when that wedge starts driving further and further and further and further, and then it started out as like a
Starvation does some serious shit to people. People
yeah.
do some serious crazy shit when you start when famine starts fucking eking in, and people don't feel like they're getting their basic needs met. It's a fucking game changer. If you've ever starved, like you've ever been on the streets and you ever fucking starved, you know what I'm talking about. You get fucking desperate, guy. $20 is $20, kid.
It's true. It's very true, and it can change you for the for the good or for the not so good. To be completely honest, because yeah, like when you say $20 is $20, it can make you do some crazy shit. But also in the solidarity part, like it can make you realize that like hard times are hard times, and there's a reason that change needs to come about, and that makes people kind of like link arms a little bit. And it's not always possible. I mean, it's always possible. It just doesn't always happen the way you would want it to, with the linking arms and the realizing the class consciousness and being like, those people up top are quite literally nothing like us, and that we need to bridge that gap.
Yeah. Yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head. You're sitting there talking about that class warfare, and we're seeing it today, and it's scary. It's fucking scary because history is about to repeat itself, and people are like, oh no, well America's just it's just starting out, but look how fast things have happened over the last 100 years. Like it was like print and press, steam engine, all right, electricity, big freaking skyscrapers, boom boom boom. It was just like computers. It's like it was just it's on an accelerated rate at this point, guy, and you can see the amount of wealth gap that's going on. Who the fuck, like they got somebody's got billions of dollars. There's billionaires now, guy. So it's like it's a little different than a king in a kingdom where you run out of resources or some kind of situation because you spread yourself out either in the Roman Empire as you spread yourself out in all these colonies, or England, or you can see in any of these things. It's on an accelerated rate, I think, because the amounts are totally different at this point. It's insane.
Where's the part where we tie this into philosophy? Now that we've got all that history stuff out of the way.
Well, they did say, you have to be part of that political, and they did realize the birthplace of democracy is ancient Greece, and I think all of the Stoics knew that politics and you just like being part of a community was a crucial part of the human experience, and how we interact with each other is how this experiment either ends or begins.
That's true, because another thing I found in meditations, Marcus is very uh, regularly referring to, or like reminding himself that humans are meant to be social creatures, and then yeah, that you have to get out and play those parts.
Civic duties he does a lot, and he kind of goes into like you're artist or you're this, you got to be part of this community and be part of that, discourse or agreement of things. Civil duties were very
Hmm.
prominent in his writings.
Which is kind of interesting in ref or not. I guess in what's the word I'm looking
I
for?
don't know, John. Would I love when people do this. I
No,
love
okay.
when
So I've been
this
learning
is a
about.
good stuff. I'm thinking of a word. Oh, okay. There's a whole fucking dictionary of words. So you know,
Yeah, you're right. There's so many of them bitches. No, I learned about Buddhism a little bit in my history journey, and I really, really do enjoy a lot about Buddhism. But one thing I notice in its similarities with Stoicism and also its differences, there's a lot of similarities, but one of the key differences, it seems not selfish, but very like self-oriented. It's and there are things about Stoicism that are self-oriented, where like Marxist says a lot of things about like you got to be strict with yourself and tolerant with others, and that's just one of many examples. But with Buddhism, it's so much very like the whole basis is that your you have to understand that like your life has a purpose that is only specific to you, and you are to fulfill that purpose, and it's by doing things that bring you good things in life, and ultimately being like there's that part where you have to be good to other people, but that only shows to go that's like with the karma and the dharma and whatnot. It just goes, it's like it's very self-serving
can
in
only
a
control
way
the things you
that
can control.
stoicism.
You can only
Yeah, but stoicism seems to be so like we're all parts, like all pieces on a chessboard, and you have to understand that where you're a piece on a chessboard, and that you can, the best thing you can do is just do the thing you do and be good to the people that are around you, and yeah, like you said, just control what you can and ditch the rest. But with Buddhism, it's just like fucking like just do, and focus on you, and all that's how you find your way out, and that's how you reach.
enlightenment.
Uh, yeah, basically, that's the word I was looking for. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I mean that's the key to this situation. Don't worry about people. And there are going to be people that annoy you. You cannot control that. What you can control is how you react to it. So it's, our good friend Jeff always said, you got to
Hmm.
control the things, do the things you can do that you can only do, and you got to, in the situation.
You'd say, you see, the problem isn't the problem; it's the way you view the
Exactly.
problem.
Exactly. You got to just wake up every day thinking that you're going to do good today, and you try to do good. If it doesn't go as good as you thought, there's always tomorrow, and do it tomorrow, and do it the next day. Think a finite amount of time on this world, and you got to keep going. Keep doing and trying and going. Exactly. Carpe diem.
No more.
Seize that shit.
Um, yeah, that
Seize
one
that
too.
seize that fish.
I uh I was wondering, is there any other philosophical writings that you have delved into nearly as much as Meditations? Or if not, is there anything that you're gearing yourself up to move on to next?
I was thinking about Seneca, because I've read that, but I was thinking about rereading that right now because, in both Savage Compassion and Meditations, they name drop a lot in that, and I think I'm going to start diving into more of this situation with starting with Seneca. I think.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of really, really good things about Seneca, mostly like you just said, from those two people who reference him a lot. But also, I also came to find that Seneca's story growing up was almost exactly like the Roman version of Jesus. Like he was like born to a virgin and to this family, and then like was known to be uh, performing these what people would call miracles and giving advice and constantly caring
Yeah.
to the homeless and the people down on their luck and whatnot. And then come to find out, as mentioned in Meditations, that it's Seneca's brother who was actually the the person in on trial when the Romans went to prosecute Jesus, and there was Seneca's brother who had them crucify him.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
or at least called for his death. I'm not sure he said put him on a
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
T,
yeah.
but
Yep. Well, there's a reason why, like you said in the beginning, right? The spoils go to the victor, literally. Like when they write this stuff, they're writing it from the perspective of the
yeah.
winners. Like they didn't get and a lot of the time.
There's a lot of pettiness in history, I'm finding. A lot of people, like, when they get the chance to outlive somebody and write, they fucking take advantage of it, and they write some dirty shit sometimes. I can't
Yeah,
blame them.
that's true too, but again, they're doing what they can do from their
Right.
perspective, right? When the Bible was written, it wasn't written by Jesus; it was written by the apostles. After like some of it was written
Mhm.
40
Curtains
years
were long
after his
drawn.
death.
These guys were still
Yeah,
stuck in
the
the oven.
curtains were long drawn, and they were writing these situations. So obviously, they might not have got the crossed their T's and dotted their I's, in the right way. Is what I'm saying. They're going from memory, which we all know, especially these apostles. They're probably 80 years old at this point. Like as our standard, they might have not have written down exactly. Maybe they had dementia. And they were writing it down in the way they.
Yeah, can you think of how many times you go to tell somebody a story and Sam's on your shoulder telling you, like, correcting all the things
Uh
you're
huh.
getting wrong, and then you're finding out that like, by the time you're done, it's a completely different
It's totally
story?
different.
Where were the apostles' wives when this was going down? That's what I wanna
They
know.
didn't have the problem with the
How
Bible,
much fact
John, is
checking?
they didn't have the peanut gallery, on the side of them telling them
That's what
that
they
these
need.
apostles that they were wrong. That's the whole wrong with the reason the Bible's wrong.
Fucking
She's
centuries
she's
and
she's not peanut
centuries of
gallerying
shit
today.
has happened
She's not gonna
because this
peanut gallery because she's got a
oh.
mouthful of food right now and she's just stuffing her face.
Mhm. Well, she's got her own show now. She's like, "I can't just show
No,
up on a
she's
whim, you know? I
yeah.
got a
You my
schedule."
people. You got
And
to
she's
talk
like
about my
she's like
people.
Sharon Osbourne. She got
Call your people, and then we
everything
we
going
we
on.
set something up, guy. But no, yeah. I mean, that's
That
that's
kinda like what you were saying, though, where it's like it's interpreted in a different way. That's another thing I'm really enjoying. It's almost like a little Easter egg, no pun intended. It's like a little Easter egg that I'm finding when you travel chronologically through world history. There's three major points, but multiple other different points where somebody went to a mountaintop, spoke to God, and came down. And now I have to fucking do things a certain way in society because they fucking thought they talked to God. And then, like you said, people went on to write books about that event happening. And then somebody told somebody about that, and they wrote that book based off of that conversation about that event that happened hundreds of years before their
you
existence.
bring up the tablets. You bring up the tablets, so that's a good analogy. What do we know? What if there was not just 10 commandments, but there was like 20 commandments, like and two of the tablets broke, so he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go with what I have," and I,
He's
throw out
dropping
the.
tablets.
He dropped the stone tablet and it broke, so we didn't get the commandments 1 through 20, guy. 10, 11 through 20.
Mhm.
What
Or
if?
who's to say that, what was his name? Is that Moses?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so who's to say Moses didn't have a differing opinion along the way, and maybe there was, like, as he's leading them
He
through the
ad
desert,
libbed.
he's just like
He ad
he's like, "Hey,
libbed.
look at that vulture over there," and he just drops a couple tablets when they're not looking, and then he's like, "Alright, let's go, we got a long desert to get through, got a whole seat apart."
You didn't see on. They didn't. they didn't see on the Dead Sea Scrolls back in the day where Moses wrote down the commandments at the bottom. He put paraphrasing. I'm
Yeah, like, all
paraphrasing.
right, guys, I think I fucking know Moses' handwriting at this point. How long we been walking with the guy? I think I can tell.
I think I can tell what's going on. And well, maybe there wasn't favorable. Maybe the people that won, it wasn't very favorable to them. Those extra things weren't favorable to the ruling class, the people that won the situation or wrote the things down where they're the victors, and maybe it wasn't in favorable light
Mhm.
for them, and maybe they just left that part out because it didn't really work in there. It didn't put them in a good light, so they just left that part out,
I'm sure not everybody's
like
gonna
the
love
Pilgrims,
this.
they didn't come over here. It's not like they came over here and they wrecked shit,
Yeah.
guy. And that's not in the history books, guy. It's like, oh, we didn't, we, they didn't put in like the Jeffrey Dahmer fucking, the Dahmer party guy
Yeah,
that they ate each other,
the
dude.
raping and
They were like,
pillaging.
we're gonna leave that part out. We're gonna leave that cannibalism part out, guy, of the
Mhm.
story
I'm not sure
when we
if
tell
people
it.
are gonna love this or hate this, but I gotta say, in learning about the three major religions, I feel bad for Islam. Um, Solely because it seems like they just got late to the party. You know what I mean? They were they were the third guy to go on a mountain out of the big three. There's a third guy to go up on a mountain and claim that God spoke to him. So, and who's gonna believe the last person? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's
you're
already
just
been
you're
two
just doing with
people
the
before.
fad. You're going with the fad.
Exactly.
You're
Like
thing.
I'm not trying to disprove Islam or anything. I'm just saying I totally understand why you're getting the shit end of the stick time and time and time and time and time again. You had your time. I mean, the Byzantine Empire was fucking dope. You had Islam's all through the Mongolian empires or
Yeah,
dynasty or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it really has taken the back seat in the world and for many, many reasons.
that's an interesting. Well, that's an interesting thing there, right? Because then that lays into like all of the things when you really think about it, right? How the similarities to a lot of civilizations and their religions. I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but
Sure.
it's like, oh, you know, sometimes Christianity takes something from the Vikings, and I want to dwell
Mhm.
on that a little bit. Like they were trying to convert these people over, right? And that's what the religion's trying to do: bring you towards their way of thinking. So maybe they took some stuff from other religions, right, or what people were speaking of that day, right? And they
Yeah.
kind of made it their own to be like, oh, well, yeah, we have the same thing over here. We have the same thought. You don't have to be a pagan. You can come over here and you can, we got a log too that we burn on Christmas. You know what I'm saying? You know, you guys got the Yule log. We got the Yule time log too. We burn Christmas trees and stuff like that. Kind of bring them into the fold. So maybe that there's some of that going around where between the three major religions, they kind of borrowed from each other to get followers.
Yeah.
All right, to bring them into the fold. Oh, you
And
believe in the god of thunder? Well, I got the perfect one guy that does all of them, and he.
I mean, we already talked about the fact that like it's seemingly things that people have claimed and written down in books. But then you get to this aspect that you're talking about now of the restructuring throughout history of religions, the
Yeah,
restructuring and the reigniting of different religions and being like, well, we do this now and it's awesome and you should
yeah,
join.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that shit you were doing, that's fucking dumb. And also,
yeah.
we're gonna kill you for thinking it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's well, the spoils go to the victor. You're not gonna sit. You're gonna be able. You have to be able to. You're gonna have to roll with the punches after things burn over those over time and time again. you're gonna get other things from other people and other. It's like a melting pot, and then all of a sudden, it's like the gospel. It's literally like the
Yeah.
gospel at that point.
And they say that the Crusades, mostly Christian Crusades, were largely a failure. But I argue that they're all a failure until the last one. And if you just change it to where like the last crusade never truly ended, then you realize that it wasn't a failure because I mean think about the money that we have in our pockets. What is it inscribed with? It's inscribed with Christian ideology. I mean if that wasn't the fucking crusades winning, then I don't know what the fuck is.
If you're truly great, right, you don't have to worry about what people are gonna think of you because you are great, right? And it's gonna transcend history because you are great. You don't have to worry about being great if you're great.
Yeah, that's like the Buddha. That's why the Buddha stands the test of time because he can remain unchallenged because he's not a challenge. Like you have to accept the Buddha because accepting the Buddha is accepting humility and accepting that that there's more to life than pain, like your own pain and the pain you inflict on others. And it's like it's about that inner enlightenment part that you have to be searching for. And the Buddha knows that. So anything that comes the Buddha's way is irrelevant. Like he's just sitting there. Like look at him. He's chilling, legs crossed, all oiled up.
What you put out into the universe, right? It comes down to what you think, what you perceive, right? A lot of this is just perception. All right, you're just perceiving this life, right? You're sitting here, we're living life, we're on a podcast, talking to people, but you know nobody else is going to perceive it in the way that me and John is perceiving it at this moment at this
Mhm.
time, right? And we might and it doesn't really matter. The only people that can really ruin it is me and John because we perceive it to be shit or no not worth our time. But also, you put things out into the universe, and maybe something comes back. Maybe something doesn't. But it's that's what I think. I think Chris Rock said it best in Dogma. He had a really good idea, and you just fucked it all up. You just totally fucked it all up. It was a great idea. Religion was a great idea, and you just took it. Human beings just took it and fucked it all up, guy. Be nice to one another. Oh yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna be nice to all the people, guy. It's gonna be the
Mhm.
people I want to be nice to. So you just took something that was in itself, be kind to people, and you fucked it all up, guy.
Mhm.
And I think that's with everything. Everything that is like you perceive as like moral and good can be corrupted, and that's the problem with the situation. It's you take a good idea and you fuck it up.
Not even just corrupted, but completely bastardized. I mean, that idea of just like, yeah, this book tells me I should be nice to these people, but then it's largely adapted in the way of like, I should be nice to these people as long as they think the way I think. And that kind of
But
extends into another way
even
of
that they do.
largely the people who think the way I think have to look the
It
way I
doesn't.
look and have
It
to go
doesn't
to the
say
same
that
places I
though.
go
It
to.
doesn't say that. It doesn't
Yeah,
say
it
that.
doesn't say that though, but they sure worked those fucking kinks out
Yeah,
through the last
exactly.
1,000
So
years.
they're being hypocritical to the so-called values that they have.
Mark my
But
words.
that's not your fault. That's not our problem. That's not your problem, right? That they're putting that out in the universe, guy. And universe might giveth, and karma's a motherfucker. So like, if you're thinking that way, that you're the way you think and that you think people should think, and if you think that way, that it's bad for people to think the other way, the universe is going to take care of you.
Which is why, um, even as someone who doesn't practice religion, understanding that freedom of religion is one of the most important parts to have a copacetic society, because if you want to believe in not believing, then you have to allow others to believe in believing without impeding others. You know what I mean? It's a give and take. It's a huge give and take. So it's like, I might view in my view of the world history and all the things I've been learning, I might view all these different religions as barbaric and horrific, and ultimately being one of the worst things to happen to humanity. But also, I'm not the first person to tell you that you shouldn't be a Christian or a Jew or Islamic or any other third or fourth thing, because I believe in believing and not believing. You know what I mean? If somebody were to come along and be like, Stoicism's dumb and also now illegal, I would be erratic. You know what I mean? I would be a crazy fucking revolutionary, just from 0 to 100. And nobody should have to experience that, I think.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the spoils go to the victors, and
Hmm.
unfortunately, you know, a lot of people think the way they think, and we're all tribalism at humanity is just tribalism at best. And there's no other fucking. You think about it, right? Every other living thing, I'm talking plants, I'm talking all of it, like except for us, kind of works in the perfect way. Like when they exactly the way
Oh, yeah.
that no pun intended, God intended. They were
Complete
it just
symbiosis.
works with their environment. Everything that they do is for a purpose and work seamlessly in the world. We're the only variable that just doesn't work.
Yeah, if there is a proverbial God, he must have been shitting himself the first time a large group of people started attacking another large group of people. He'd never seen war before, because animals don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they kind of do.
they
They kind of do. The
okay,
monkeys do.
all right, that's fair.
So maybe it's a well, no, because those gangs of lemurs and shit, guy, that fucking they you never seen that on the
No, I've
Discovery
never
Channel.
seen
They
the lemur gang wars.
do prairie dogs, they do it.
I feel like that's calling in evolution, though, a little bit, isn't it? Like when we start talking about how the monkeys are doing humanistic like things like war and gang activity against each other, then it's like, then the only thing we possibly have to relate it to is humanity, is things that we as humans have done to each other. So, like, it's not the monkeys invented war, did they? We don't know. We have no way of proving that, because the only history we can accurately trail back, and that's, I'm talking
What do
barely
they say?
accurately. We've
But
fucking
but
covered
but
that.
necessity is the mother of all invention. Like that's
So you think war was a
it.
necessity to
At
monkeys?
some point, it was a necessity to
To
to to
lemurs?
to um to the way that they were, their society was built upon. Like at some
You could
point,
be right. Yeah.
it was necessary for them to go to war with the lemurs next door or the monkey gang next door to provide for their little group, and that necessity brought forth the invention of war for.
This is actually really fucking a really interesting. Now we're getting into Enlightenment, baby. This is a really interesting thing, because it's like the chicken or the
Yeah,
egg. Did we invent war, or is war inevitably part of us because we're fucking bipedals and we just needed to do that?
at some point we needed to do that. The necessity is the mother of all inventions. It when
Was there
you
war before
listen,
currency?
when you had a group of people, right, had nothing. They all of a sudden a lightning bolt hits their camp and burns down acres upon acres, and all the food that they had, all the things that they had were just fucking wiped out in an instant, guy. And they couldn't just go out and get. Maybe there was like, oh shit, winter's coming. Like at some point, and they were like, somebody was at caveman days were like, well, they weren't not affected, right? The people downhill were not affected by this catastrophic situation that we find ourselves in. Let's go take their shit, and it's we'll be better for it. So they had to invent.
War was created.
War was created. They were like, fuck it. We had either we were going to die, we were going to do the moral.
Well, I feel like the real war has to come from those other monkeys that were accosted by the first monkeys being
Yeah,
accosted. It comes from them
they
seeing
remember.
it,
They
and
remember
that's
they
got to be
killed
the
the
real, yeah. They'd be like, those fucking monkeys
took my
came in and
mother.
took
They
everything
killed
we
my
had.
mother, guy, and then all.
I didn't burn
Yeah,
their house.
they were like, fuck that.
I didn't burn the trees.
I had no nothing to do with me that the lightning bolt hit their compound, guy.
They're vicious.
And
They're different from us monkeys. They're less
they
evolved. They're evil. We need to
that's it.
extinguish them.
And they go out and they go then they commit genocide.
For Kong! Ah!
Yeah,
Yeah,
for Caesar.
for
For
Caesar. Yeah.
Caesar.
Oh my God, those how fucking good were
But
those movies? Matt Reeves, gotta hand it to you.
they're damn dirty
You watched all
apes.
those new ones, right?
Yeah,
God, they
definitely
were
did.
fucking incredible. I wasn't
Yeah,
I wasn't too crazy about the newest one, but
yeah,
if you just look at it as like a trilogy, damn, those
yeah.
movies were fucking
The
good.
Caesar trilogy is like literally um like a history lesson of humans, guy.
It is though, yeah. It's like putting a VCR and rewind almost.
Yeah. It's like human, like any civilization, like we've been talking about it like this whole time. It's like a microcosm of that situation. They got their oppressors were beating them down. They released their
Mhm.
shackles of their oppressors, and then they became kind of like over time the oppressors. It's inevitable to the point that
Yeah.
human civilization was kind of wiped out. That's the whole point.
That's yet another thing I've noticed about history is like when it comes to a pinnacle of oppression and a pinnacle where society can't take it anymore and they revolt or there's some kind of mass restructuring, very, very rarely is it for the best. Like it's like you get
Yeah,
right there. You get right there and you're like, we need to beat this evil power. And then like they overthrow the power and then a whole new evil comes in with a different hat on and they're like, we're gonna make it
keeps
cool.
50
We're gonna make
takes
things
about
better for
50
you.
years takes 50 years, and then all of a sudden it's
Hmm.
exactly the same
Yeah.
fucking way it was
Everything seemed
in the
cool.
beginning.
And then here we
Yeah,
are again.
we don't learn. It's because we don't
Eh,
fucking
That's
learn from
exactly how it
history.
happened in those movies too, because when Caesar was in charge, everything was fucking awesome, and then people started challenging him and taking it. What was that guy, Kobo?
The Kobo
That
guy,
evil fucking shit, Kobo,
yeah,
and all it
got
took was one
jealous,
Kobo.
got a little jealous guy and wanted power, and
Hmm.
that's it. Then that Kobo became the fucking dictator guy, and that was the end of the whole situation.
Yeah. So I think if we can take anything away from this podcast is that I need to watch less YouTube history and more Planet of the Apes, and I'll just get closer to what I'm looking for, like the real root of of humanity and evil and greed and power. I'll get all those questions answered.
Money is the root to all evil, right? And greed, and that will kill a civilization faster than anything in the world. It you know because people get firmly jealous of what you have, other than, like, we talked about like tying in stoicism. Just be happy with what you have at the moment. Be relished in you only got one life, because you just relish in that the thing. And there will be better days, because everything is not going to be what it was, because you're on this path. and just be happy. Just be happy with what you have at this moment in time. And then
Yeah, I heard a story about these two authors. I think one of them was he wrote that book Fahrenheit 451,
yeah,
and then I don't know who that guy is, and then another guy who wrote another well notable book. They were at a party for a billionaire, and they were kind of like, talking about the success of their own books. And then when that doled out, they kind of started going around talking about the things in the mansion of like, oh, he's got this and he's got that and yada, yada, yada. And one turns to the other and goes like, um, could you imagine selling enough books to even get close to owning all of this stuff? And the other guy turns to the other and goes, is like, that's the difference between me and this guy, is that I know I have
yeah,
enough. So it doesn't matter how many books
yeah,
I
yeah,
sell. Like, success is completely what I make it in my head. And I got to a point where I
yeah,
decided it's enough.
yeah. So you feel successful, John, in your life at this moment?
Not in this moment, but I have this weird feeling where like I have a bad relationship with money and finances. If I do get like the upper hand for a little bit, I stop being as hungry, I stop being as greedy, and it's really not what I should be doing because I'm not Daddy Warbucks, I'm not Jeff Bezos. I just
Yeah,
have been doing well for a while, but then that hunger starts to slip away from me because I'm not a like naturally like greedy person. I couldn't run Amazon. If I tried,
yeah,
I disassemble it immediately. It's just
yeah,
insane. Like I know when enough is enough, and sometimes I get close to even having just enough to do what I need to achieve in my life, and that can be a semi-dangerous thing for me because then I stop fucking having that survival mode. But I think that's probably the root of the problem, is that I've been so working on survival mode for so long that I don't know how to like put a seed in the ground and watch it grow and then nurture the tree. You know what I mean? It's always like, look for a tree. Does it have berries? Leave that tree. Look for another tree. Does it have berries? It's like it's that constant. It's a learning process.
yeah. You gotta keep working at it. It's self worth when it comes down to it. But I think I'm in a good spot right now. I think I'm successful. I've never had a problem with making money, so it's weird. It's weird. It's just like I just
Good
make
for you.
money for some reason. Like I've never had a problem.
That's fucked up.
I've never had a point in my life that somebody was like, "Yeah, I don't need your services." Like I'm very handy
Yeah.
and all the things that I can do. I literally can do anything. I have so many licenses and so many life experiences that I've done in my life that it's weird. It's not hard. I just do it. Like, oh, you need this, Well, I need money, so it's good. So thank you.
I want that. I want that about you. That's one of my favorite things about you that I look up to, and for a long time, I've noticed that and wanted that. Of just like he just does, you know what I mean? Like he sees a thing and he does, and if he doesn't know how to do it, he figures out how to do it, and then he does. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's not like it's locked behind some big crazy door. Like he just goes and gets the information
No.
and then does it.
Yeah. YouTube, a lot of YouTube.
That's the door.
Yeah, yeah. YouTube is the greatest thing for unlocking doors in the 21st century,
You're
guy.
right. You're absolutely right.
It's insane how many things you can look up on YouTube. It's like literally anything you can think of is like, oh, can I need a bumper for an 82. How do I
Mhm.
install a bumper for an 82 Chevy guy? And it's like some guy out there is like, I'm making this video and I'm going to show you how to do
All right, guys. Today we're gonna install a bumper on an '82 Chevy.
It's exactly what it's like. Literally every time
It always starts
I've
off with
never had a moment where I was like stumped, and I was like, okay, I put it in Google, put it in YouTube, and YouTube not spit out something,
yeah,
like either like a trade video of like a manual or something like that from the company or some guy.
yeah, or Reddit. Like Reddit's really good for that. Reddit, multiple people have said it before me. Reddit is really good for like somebody 10 years ago had the same problem you're
Yeah,
having today, and like a fucking like a cave inscription. They put the answers right
yeah.
there, and it was just sitting there waiting for you to have the problem and go through
It's exactly what that happened to me the other day. I'm playing Diablo 4, guy,
it.
and for the life of me, like it just, I was doing this side quest, and the side quest just kept going for. I was doing the side quest forever, and I'm like, what am I fucking missing? What am I missing? I think I was spent like at least 45 minutes on this, just walking around, just like going, what the fuck? I put it in Google, and Reddit was like, "Oh, it's a bug that you're not meant to beat this side quest. It just doesn't
I
exist.
hate
It doesn't
those.
exist. You can't complete the situation. You might as well abandon it right at the moment, guy." And I'm like,
And you're a deterministic guy. Like that's like literally asking someone to start banging their head in a fucking brick wall because they're like, I think you can get through it, dude. Just try.
I they literally said, put your hand. They were like, put your hand in a meat grinder right now. Just put your hand, take your hand and put it in a meat grinder right now. But again, I wouldn't have known. I would have kept going and kept fucking trying to beat this side
That's why
quest
you're the
forever.
best.
It would have been on a loop forever. It would it and I could and literally the game it has a bug in it, and it will not let you do
I could
this
see you like
particular
I could
fucking
see you
side
like a
quest.
fly on the wall just screaming at your TV. And Sam being like, "What
I'm
is it?"
losing it, guy. I'm losing it. I'm like, oh my God, what is it? What is it? And Diablo 4 is good with this. They know how they've gotten the fucking experts to pinpoint me and people like me to like be engaged in this
Mm-hmm.
in this gameplay, because they like there's certain ones that you can only see at night, guy. So you can only do it at night. So you have to do these certain things. And if you don't do it in a certain way, you'll never get it. It's like sitting there, like you'll never get it. And they get you. They get you. They get you in that. They know how to fucking just
It's
twist your
very
nipples.
autism
But that
friendly.
one specifically,
Has very
what?
autism friendly.
Oh yeah, yes, 100%. If people Diablo 4 is very autistic,
Mm-hmm.
ADHD friendly, 100%. Not friendly as being like your friend, like the guy that you're gonna turn to, more like um that friend that indulges you in all your fucking deep dark
Mm-hmm.
fucking
In
secrets,
the
guy.
same way that a casino is
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like gambler friendly.
yeah, yeah. Casino, we're gambler friendly.
The first gambler friendly casino. We approve of gambling addicts. Come on in.
Come right in,
Zero
guy.
judgment. Like, it's like Planet Fitness, or like we're a judgment free zone. We literally will not kick you out.
They're like ITT Tech or whatever the hell it is, that micro like they got sued because they literally had 100% acceptance, and literally the things that they were claiming that everybody, like, they got this job, everybody gets a job, like, oh, like they thing, and they got in
Oh
trouble,
yeah,
like it was
yeah.
100%,
I remember those
100%
commercials
accept.
actually.
We accept if you have a bank account and you're dead, just wheel yourself in here, guy, we'll take you. Mad people got
I
burnt.
remember those
Mad people
commercials
got
as a
burnt
kid
for
and being
that.
like, "Wow, college is
Mad
so
people
easy."
got burnt for that. I think they call them multi marketing campaigns. That's how they. It's like Avon, or like Lululemon, or all those other fucking Tupperware. You know, they you start selling
Yeah.
The person at the top makes all the money, and the people that are fucking grinding and literally, and the customers are like getting screwed just through all that thing, just so somebody at the top top of the pyramid can make billions of dollars and screw everybody.
You
What?
know what that reminds me of? The Roman Empire.
Yeah, yeah, it's exactly what happened.
Well, I think it's a great way to round this episode out.
Don't get fooled by ITT Tech.
Yeah, don't get fooled by ITT Tech. And as Jeffrey Parker would say, it's all about the power of positivity.